The average person spends almost 4.5 years of their life stuck in toxic relationships they could have recognized within the first 60 seconds of meeting someone. These people are not just irritating, they are slowly tearing down your confidence, draining your emotional energy, and reshaping how you see reality. In this video, I will reveal 10 instant signs that expose toxic people before they have the chance to fully put on their mask. Let's begin with the strongest sign, something that shows up in their very first sentence to you and quietly reveals everything. The first sign is what psychologists describe as the excessive validation trap. This happens when someone instantly overagrees with your opinions or viewpoints without truly knowing you. Emotionally healthy people naturally disagree on certain things, even when they first meet. But toxic individuals manufacture immediate artificial harmony. They agree enthusiastically with nearly everything you say. This is not real connection. It is deliberate mirroring meant to lower your psychological defenses. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that manipulative individuals agree with strangers' opinions about 86% of the time during first meetings, compared to only 38% for genuine individuals. They will respond to your simple thoughts with lines like, "That's exactly how I feel," or "I was literally just thinking the same thing." They create the illusion of rare compatibility. It feels almost magical. It feels special, but it feels too good to be true because it usually is. You can test this by sharing a slightly unusual opinion. A healthy person might politely disagree or show curiosity. A toxic person will quickly claim it is their belief too. They are building a base for future manipulation, and this validation trap is only the beginning. The second sign reveals itself in the way they talk about people who are not present, and it is deeply unsettling. The second instant red flag is preemptive character assassination. This happens when they quietly damage someone else's credibility before you get the chance to form your own judgment. Toxic individuals isolate their targets by poisoning the well against possible allies. Within minutes of meeting you, they casually mention problems with mutual connections. They disguise these attacks as helpful warnings or harmless comments. Studies in social psychology show that this technique creates up to a 47% drop in trust between potential allies before they even interact. It is social sabotage dressed up as friendly conversation. They might say, "Oh, you're working with Sarah? Just be careful with her. She's great, but..." followed by a criticism that sounds specific yet easy to deny later. They are not protecting you. They are weakening your support system in advance. When someone offers negative opinions about others without being asked, especially during your first conversation, recognize it as a calculated move rather than friendly advice. The third sign appears in how they respond to your boundaries, and it happens faster than you would expect. Have you ever met someone and immediately felt uneasy but could not explain why? Your subconscious mind was noticing these exact signals. The third instant red flag is the immediate boundary test. This is when they make a small but intentional violation of your comfort or personal space to measure your reaction. Toxic people test boundaries right away, not by accident. They may make a slightly inappropriate joke, ask an overly personal question, or initiate physical contact that feels unnecessary within minutes of meeting you. This is not social awkwardness. It is a deliberate test. Behavioral psychologists at UCLA documented that manipulative individuals often test boundaries within the first 7 minutes of meeting someone new. Respectful individuals usually maintain appropriate space for at least 30 minutes. They might touch your arm when it is not needed, stand just a bit too close, or ask about your relationship status or income before it makes sense in the conversation. Then they carefully observe how you respond. These early tests matter. The way you react sets the tone for every future interaction. Healthy people respect limits from the start. Toxic people search for ways to cross them immediately. The fourth sign is hidden in plain sight. It is found in the stories they tell about themselves during those important first minutes. The fourth instant red flag is the strategic victim narrative. This happens when they present themselves as the hero trapped in impossible situations almost immediately after meeting you. Toxic individuals use carefully designed personal stories to show themselves as both victimized and exceptional at the same time. These stories serve many purposes. They create sympathy. They justify future behavior. They build emotional debt before a real relationship even forms. Research in narrative psychology shows that manipulative individuals share victim stories 3 times earlier in new relationships than genuine people, who usually wait for trust to develop naturally. Within minutes, they may describe how a business partner betrayed them, but they bravely overcame it, or how their ex was crazy, yet they were the perfect partner. These are not simple acts of vulnerability. They are strategic positioning. When someone quickly shares stories where they are always the flawless victim of others' actions, understand that this is reputation management, not authentic connection. The fifth sign shows itself in how they react when they are not the center of attention, and it happens almost instantly. The fifth instant red flag is the spotlight shift. This occurs when they repeatedly redirect conversations back to themselves, even in group situations. Healthy people naturally share the focus of conversation. Toxic individuals struggle to tolerate attention being on someone else. They interrupt, they redirect, they hijack discussions with growing urgency the longer they are not in control of the spotlight. Communication researchers at Stanford found that narcissistic individuals interrupt conversations within about 20 seconds if they are not the main focus. That rate is 4 times higher than emotionally balanced people. Watch them in group settings. If someone else is speaking, they may jump in with, "That reminds me of when I," or shift their body position to draw eyes back to them. If that does not work, they may check their phone or show obvious boredom until attention returns. This is not simple excitement. It is extreme self-focus. Notice how quickly and consistently they redirect attention, especially when someone else is sharing achievements or needs. The sixth sign appears in their language patterns within the first few minutes. Once you notice it, you cannot ignore it. The sixth instant red flag is forced we language. This happens when they create a premature sense of partnership or shared struggle by using we statements almost immediately. Toxic people artificially speed up intimacy by tying themselves to you through language before any true bond exists. This is not genuine closeness. It is a psychological shortcut meant to bypass your normal evaluation process. Security expert Gavin de Becker identified this tactic in 65% of cases where predatory individuals gain trust quickly. They will say things like, "We're both dealing with the same challenge," or "People like us have to stick together," or "We'll figure this out." These statements create a false sense of alliance before any foundation has formed. Genuine relationships develop shared language gradually. Toxic people introduce it right away as a fast track to trust. The seventh sign shows up in how they respond to even the smallest disagreement. It reveals exactly how they may treat you in the future. The seventh instant red flag is the disproportionate reaction. This is when they respond to mild disagreement or gentle criticism with subtle but clear emotional intensity. Emotionally healthy people can handle different opinions without becoming unstable. Toxic individuals often cannot. They experience even minor disagreement as personal rejection. Their response may include sudden tension, defensiveness, cold withdrawal, or sharp sarcasm. It may not be explosive at first. It may be quiet but noticeable. A small shift in tone, a quick tightening of the jaw, a sudden change in body language. Your nervous system notices this before your mind does. You feel that something became heavier in the room. That reaction is important information. When someone cannot tolerate small differences early on, imagine how they may react during serious conflicts later. Early intensity predicts future instability. Pay attention to the emotional temperature change when you calmly disagree. It tells you more than their words ever will. Cold withdrawal. Psychological studies show that people who score high in toxicity display clear physical stress reactions to even small disagreements that are about 3.7 times stronger than those shown by emotionally stable individuals. You will often see a sudden change in their behavior, a tightening around the eyes, a slight clenching of the jaw, a colder tone of voice, or a complete removal of warmth after even a minor difference of opinion. And then, just as quickly, they will try to cover it up if they sense that you noticed. That quick flash of an extreme reaction exposes their inner weakness and predicts how they will deal with future conflicts. Instead of choosing healthy communication, they will likely rely on emotional control and subtle manipulation. The eighth sign hides inside their compliments, and it carries a warning that most people completely overlook. The eighth immediate red flag is what I call the comparative compliment. This happens when someone praises you by putting someone else down, quietly showing you how they will one day speak about you too. Toxic individuals rarely give pure, simple compliments. Instead, they offer comparisons that lift you up by criticizing others. This is not true appreciation. It is a display of how they build social ranking and create division between people. Language research shows that manipulative personalities use comparative compliments 4 times more often than sincere praise during first meetings. It is a strong predictor of future triangulation and drama. They might say something like, "You're much smarter than the other people here," or "It's so refreshing to finally meet someone who actually understands." At first, these words may feel flattering, but they are not really about you. They are tools used against others, and eventually those same tools will be turned toward you. When someone praises you by insulting others, understand that you are watching their usual method of operating, and that same pattern will one day include talking about you in the same negative way. The ninth sign becomes visible in the way they respond to your achievements or happy news. It is subtle, but once you recognize it, you cannot unsee it. Think about the most toxic relationship you have ever seen. Most likely, it began with at least 7 of these 10 warning signs during the very first meeting. The person involved simply did not understand what they were witnessing until much later. The ninth immediate red flag is what I call the joy thief. This is when someone quietly reduces your excitement or accomplishments within seconds of you sharing them. Toxic people struggle to truly celebrate someone else's happiness or success. When you tell them good news, they respond with subtle tactics that lower the impact of your achievement. They may minimize it, try to outdo it, or quickly change the focus to themselves, all while appearing supportive on the surface. Research in relationship psychology shows that how someone reacts to your positive news is actually more telling about relationship quality than how they react to bad news. This concept is known as active constructive responding. When you share something meaningful, a healthy person responds with genuine excitement and curiosity. A toxic person might say, "That's great, but the real challenge comes next," or "Nice. That reminds me of when I did something similar, though mine was bigger." They might even suddenly shift the conversation away from you. All of these are subtle forms of diminishing your moment. This reaction pattern is not accidental. It is an early preview of how they will slowly weaken your confidence and reduce your achievements throughout the relationship. Over time, these small responses add up and shape how you feel about yourself. The 10th and most revealing sign is something they cannot fully control, no matter how skilled they are at acting, and it usually appears at the most unexpected time. The 10th and most powerful instant red flag is what I call the mask slip. It is a brief moment when their real personality shows because they believe no one important is watching or judging them.